I try not to look at a man for understanding at least what makes him the way he is. But looking at people like Nick Adams, and I've talked about Nick Adams on previous videos before, this guy, this guy is just amazingly evil, or the very least, or the very, very least, amazingly hateful. 4 days ago, meaning the day after what happened to Damar Hamlin during the Monday Night Football game. And by the way, thank God he's okay. He's awake, he's talking. He watched the Buffalo Bills on their Sunday game, their final game of the regular season. Everyone paid incredible tribute to him. Both teams, before the game started at pregame, kneeled down the 50-yard line, midfield, and offered prayers up to him. That was important. But apparently, to the man who calls himself an alpha male and a 100% Christian, he had to tweet this 4 days ago. The NFL reportedly wanted to proceed with last night's game shortly after Damar Hamlin almost died on the field. It was the coaches, players who refused to enforce the NFL to postpone the game. I'm officially offering my services as NFL commissioner should Roger Goodell resign. Now, the first two paragraphs I can get with. The last one, this isn't a joke. The NFL tried to get these guys back on the field, and yes, the players did, but you joking about this makes you into the jerk. But then again, I am talking about a man who thinks that anyone who doesn't support Donald Trump, doesn't stand for the national anthem, who doesn't wave the American flag 24/7 is a beta male. I'm guessing that's where he's going with this alpha male crap. Anyway, another tweet from him, it just jumped at me. In this tweet, he says, basically, the Democrat Party hates everything we hold dear: football, the national anthem, God, President Trump. Democrats cannot be allowed to hold power again if we want our children to inherit a country even remotely resembling the America we love. Oh, and by the way, you misspelled inherit, but I'll let that go for the sake of discussion. So the Democrats hate everything you hold dear. Football? I never heard any Democrats say that they hate football. I identify myself as a Democrat. I vote democratically. Sometimes I vote conservatively. And I've never hated football. What I'm saying is that we need a conversation about head injuries, about concussions, because situations like Darian Hamlin, we can't afford that, depending on how we cause that. Just last week, meaning New Year's Eve, I should say. One of the football players from my favorite college football team, the Ohio State Buckeyes, Marvin Harrison Jr., suffered a concussion in the third quarter. Couldn't play anymore for the rest of the night. God knows what kind of injuries he suffered. We need to talk about that, but it's obvious you don't want to talk about it, Nick. Why is that? He says we hate the national anthem. Why? Because Colin Kaepernick took a silent protest? It's not the fact that we hate the national anthem. It's because we were seeing a life and death situation in this country that none of you, especially people like you, Nick Adams, wanted to do anything about. Now you scream, huff, and holler about how police officers aren't getting respected. Look at them for 15 seconds and see what is happening. Police officers are killing African Americans en masse and rarely seeing any consequence. The only real consequence we saw from situations like that was, of course, crap, I forgot his name already. Anyway, the murderer of George Floyd. That's probably the first time in a very long time we saw any consequence from law enforcement in situations like that. That doesn't mean we hate the national anthem, but was the only way that we could have a conversation about this. And when in which people like UMs, it went into one ear and out the other. You don't care, and that's part of the problem. You say we hate God and prayer. Really? Now, I'm not claiming to be all holy or anything else. I'm a saved Christian. And what I saw this week with the football games, team members from both teams in the last few days, the outpouring of emotion and prayers for Hamlin, that was amazing to me. And I didn't count who was with whose political party, who was doing the prayers. I didn't go into that crowd, those crowds out there outside the stadium, outside the hospital Monday night when it happened, and ask, excuse me, I know you're praying, but are you a Democrat or Republican? I didn't do that. Should that even matter? Apparently it matters to you, and frankly, it's pathetic. The minute you start taking a census as to who's praying for what or what a person is when they're praying, that shows to me that you lost whatever kind of closeness with God that you have, because it shouldn't matter. I remember a song, let me see if I can remember the words. Red and yellow, black and white, we're all the same in God's sight. Words to that effect. Apparently, according to this statement, apparently you think God does take sides in politics and color and everything. And that is wrong, Adams. And of course, the last thing he says is, of course, President Trump, Donald Trump, the former ex-president. And yes, we hate him. Look at what happened in the past week. It took 4 days. It took up to midnight on the final day, past midnight on the final day, for the Republicans to elect a Speaker of the House. And it nearly came to blows on the final day. Yeah, it nearly came to blows on the last day. And the worst part about it is the new Speaker of the House, of course, Kevin McCarthy, is going to be the most powerless speaker out there, because there's no telling what kind of deal he made with the Republicans to either vote for him or vote present, which got him into the speaker's house, which got him the gavel. There is no telling what kind of power he gave up. He gave to the sickos like Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, and especially Marjorie Taylor Greene. There is no telling. So I hate Donald Trump because he caused this. He has made politics so corrosive in this country that we couldn't even elect a Speaker of the House for 4 straight days, going to midnight on the last day. So yeah, I hate Donald Trump for what he's done to our country. And the thing is, this statement of his saying that we hate everything you Republicans, you alpha males hold dear. If you hold Donald Trump dear to your heart, then there is something very wrong with you. If you hold someone who's probably the ultimate hypocrite, saying that he wants to protect all women when he has been nothing more than a victimizer of women. When you hold people like that dear to your heart, it becomes very dangerous. Now, football, yeah, I love football, but it isn't dear to my heart. The things that are dear to my heart are my family, my friends on my job, the people I work with, the things I believe in. Those are dear to my heart. But this football, the national anthem, let's get this out the straight right now. I've done my research on Adams, and his Facebook and Twitter pages are inundated with people with statements that he loves this country and hates anyone who takes a knee to it. He loves the flag, but wants and curses everyone who takes a knee to it. Let's get some straight facts out of this now. I care about the flag and the anthem, but in the end of the day, the anthem is a song. It's a song whose music was stolen from an old British drinking song. The song is just a song. It is not America. The flag is a flag. It's a piece of cloth. And a lot of the flags that Nick Adams and so many people in this country want us to hold dear here is if they were the Ten Commandments. Every time we pass a flag, these people want us to think it's Moses coming from Mount Sinai holding the Ten Commandments in his arms. That flag is just a piece of cloth. And the irony of that is that a lot of these flags are made in China. That's Donald Trump talking, by the way. China. God and prayer. We should hold God on top of we should hold God as the Most High. However, when you start making excuses for being this hateful, being this destructive towards people because they don't share your point of view, your worldview, that's when you turn your back away from God. And when you use prayer against your enemy, against people who may have a slight disagreement against you, that shows yourself not to be a child of God, not even a child of the devil, but just completely lost. And as for Donald Trump, I hate the SOB. The man is nothing more than a parasite on our country. And every single day he is not held accountable for his actions, it puts us in another position for something like this to happen all over again. So with no respect to you, Nick Adams, these 4 points you tried to make in your tweet here are wrong. We hold everything you put in let me put it this way. We put the first three things in your list dear in this country. We just won't put the extreme emphasis that you obviously do, except for the third one, God and prayer. And more to the point, why would you put Donald Trump in the same league with God? Why would you do that, Nick? Donald Trump is a lot of things. A God he is not. Now you may worship him like a God, but he is not a God. And I think that's part of your problem. Somehow I think you believe that Donald Trump is the Most High. He's not. He's just a man who used to be the President of the United States. Barack Obama used to be the President of the United States. I don't hold him up as the Most High. He was the first Afro-American President of the United States, and that's dear to my heart. Being an African-American, seeing a man with my skin color as the head of the nation, that's dear to me. But I don't hold him up as the Most High, on the same level with God. You, on the other hand, and a lot of you Trumpers do when it comes to Donald Trump, and that is wrong. That is just so destructively wrong. My advice to you, Nick, and I'm going to close this out when I give you this. My advice to you, Nick, and so many others out there who follow you, who I've seen say, God bless Donald Trump and all that stuff, get some help. No, better yet, get Jesus. Because quite honestly, I don't think he's in your life. Get some help, Nick. before you say or do something that will damn your soul. CTP Know the Truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.